Hey, what's going on, stargazers? I want to talk a little bit more about the big astrological transits that are going to happen here at the beginning of 2020 and the end of 2019. This video is specifically about the month of Capricorn that we are entering. And if you feel like you've been losing your mind lately, no, you're not. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of things to talk about. But when I'm talking about the solar month of Capricorn, I'm essentially talking about when the sun, astrologically, from our perspective here on Earth, enters into that area of the sky where Capricorn is residing. And it doesn't matter if the stars are actually there or not, because it's in the eye of the beholder. We're talking about archetypes, and we're talking about the science of time. It's like if a clock stops working, time doesn't stop, right, in terms of our measurement of it. So when we're talking about time, there are different archetypal rulers about time. And the sun, which is our solar vortex, it's our willpower, it's how we shine, it represents how we are spending our energy, is moving into Capricorn on December 21st. Okay, so this is really a lot about show me what you got. Show me what you got. And this happens every year. So if you're 25 years old, this is going to be your 25th time that this has happened. If you're 2 years old, this is your second time. And it's not something new. We've done it in past lives, countless times in past lives as well. And it's just like a lot is going on. There's a million planets in Capricorn. There's a lot of this energy of bringing light into the darkness, because Capricorn represents that area in our chart where we have the most darkness. It also represents where we suffer the most. So whatever house Capricorn is ruling on your astrological chart is going to indicate where you really suffer the most. But at the same time, it's also going to show you where you can bring the most light, because the darkest areas of our lives can receive and need the most light. So that's why we have so many holidays of lights. We have Christmas, where we light up the tree. We have Hanukkah, where we bring lights, or Advent, where every Sunday lights come. So we know this within us, that this is a time when we are bringing light into the world. Everything comes from light, which is of course connected to the sun, which is connected to our solar vortex, our solar plexus vortex energy. The ions, the atoms, the cosmic pixels, everything is influenced by that zodiac archetype of Capricorn when the sun is moving through there. Now, also something really interesting you need to know about why we pay so much attention to the sun is because the sun represents 60 to 70% of our karma, right? So it's a huge shift when the sun is moving into a new sign. And I also want to mention that Capricorn also begins the season of winter, when things are getting colder. Things are really just dead. Things have died throughout autumn, that natural process of death from Justice, or from Libra to Scorpio to Sagittarius. And then in winter, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, things are dead, but they are regenerating at the same time. And from the winter solstice on, the light begins to increase, whereas from the summer solstice on, the light begins to decrease. So we're feeling these shifts. The weather's shifting. The weather is already crazy all around the world. And so, yeah, like I said, there are a million planets in Capricorn. I want to talk about some of these huge transits that are occurring. Pluto, Saturn is happening during Capricorn. We have a lunar eclipse. I mean, we have some eclipses going on. There's really a lot of stuff going on here. So the Capricorn is ruled in the tarot by the devil, and that devil archetype really asks us to get acquainted with ourselves, to accept ourselves and others, but really mostly ourselves and all aspects of ourselves. The light, the shadow, the good, the bad. We're really getting in touch with all of us, and not just, oh, I want to be like loving one part of myself, because or accepting, or I only like having like these self images where I only see myself in this way, because that's what's called a half truth, because there's that shadow side also. And the shadow shouldn't be something that we are afraid of. It's like the negative of a picture. If I'm into photography, I mean digital photography, but if you do, like, if you're using film in photography, or even film movies or whatever. It's like the negative, everything is contained within the negative. So it's about, and it needs that light that then we project through that negative, that then shines onto the screen, and then we have the reality. So again, we're accepting all parts of ourselves, because if we reject the negative, then we reject the negative. Then there's nothing to display. Then we're just like this facade walking around like smoke and mirrors. And that's also Capricorn energy, right? That's also this Capricorn energy. So Sagittarius really was raising our vibration, right, into that crystallization energy, so that in Capricorn, Sagittarius was raising our energy, and then Capricorn, we crystallize that energy. So it's a month of hard work and focus and also ambition. So there's a lot of powerful things that we need to think about that are going on here, especially with all these transits that are monumental and really rare. So the first part of Capricorn, from December 21st until New Year's Eve, December 31st, we have the sun obviously will enter into Capricorn. Then we have the new moon solar eclipse the day after Christmas. We have Christmas. Hanukkah begins on December 22nd, where we're bringing more light into the world. And then on December 28th, Mercury is entering into Capricorn. So it's like we're really getting our bearings during this time. And for example, we're also balancing out the year-end finances. This can also be a time of fluctuation, right? But we really want to invite magic and light and into our money, into our prosperity, because it can reveal itself. Now, the only thing that's going to stop that from happening is being skeptical. If you don't believe, right? That was kind of like really one of the funny things, or really one of the amazing things my dad used to always say, like, if you don't believe in Santa Claus, he's not coming. And it's like, yeah, okay, yes, of course, ha ha ha. You know, but really, it's like you need to believe in the magic of money, right? Into that money magic, because then it'll manifest. It'll just flow into your account. It's happened to a lot of my friends. It's happened to a lot of my clients, my family members. You know, you really want to think about that, okay? Especially because Mercury, the planet of our focus, the planet of intention, is also entering into Capricorn. It's going to make the money magic even stronger. So it's a time that we really need to believe in ourselves, that we can work to fulfill the inspiration, the guidance that we have inhaled, okay? Now, I also want to mention I have a seed level intention setting program that you can download. And with that comes a free zodiac forecast for each sign for 2020, which is huge. I have other videos about that as well, because we're starting the new decade. So you really want to check out that seed level intention setting program, because it's a 12-day meditation where you have January 1st to January 12th, and each of the 12 days corresponds to the months of the year. So January 1st is January, January 2nd is February, January 3rd is March, and each of these days has a consciousness, a focus that we can have that is going to, you know, help with our intentions. And you need to have 12 different intentions for that year, for that 2020 year, of how you want to manifest reality. So it helps to really kind of like see like what weeds we need to pull out and what seeds we need to plant in. So please check that out. I'll put a link in the description below as well, so that you can download that. It's $42, and then you get the free astro guide. I think it's like 20 pages or whatnot, maybe more, when you buy the meditation, which is just going to make your year amazing. Okay, and then on January 3rd, 2020, on the day of March, in German they call March März, which looks like the planet Mars when you spell it out, but Mars will be entering into the sign Sagittarius. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Mars, because there's a lot going on with Mars in 2020, and I'll probably do another video about that. But Mars is going to be in this fire sign Sagittarius, which is going to, you know, Mars represents our energy. You know, that day of Mars entering is on the 3rd of January, and then in March we have Aries, the spring equinox, which rules over Mars rules over Aries. Now, what's really interesting is that Mars is going to be in Aries for 6 months, for half of the year. I mean, this is huge, because Mars rules over Aries. Aries is ruled by the Emperor. Emperor is ruled by 4. 2020 is a 4-year. I mean, there's a lot going on here, okay? I mean, seriously, there is really a lot going on here, and we work with the Gregorian years because it's the one calendar that the whole world pretty much abides by, because the world is ruled by money, right? The Gregorian year. So we work with the numerology of the Gregorian year as opposed to like the Buddhist calendar or the Hebrew calendar or the different kind of calendars, right? So there's a lot going on here. So it's a lot of Aries energy to consider. There's going to be this upsurge of Yang energy as weak structures are being destroyed and stronger ones are being reinforced. It's a time of recontextualization. This is really huge. All right. Then also what's going on is that Jupiter is going to make an opposition to the node. It's going to align with the south node and then oppose the north node. So it's going to be like a catapult pushing us forward, where we really need to avoid going into the past, right? Like repeating, like copy paste onto the past, but really being propelled into the future rather than being pulled in by the past. So I'm really happy about that. Things might look kind of different during this time, but really make sure that they're not the same. Okay, and this is happening also in Capricorn, and I have a Capricorn spray that like I'm just using like crack because it helps you to align and overcome the stars. Then guess what, you guys? 2 days before the exact alignment of Saturn and Pluto, we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Cancer. And that's going to be in opposition to the approaching Saturn-Pluto alignment in Capricorn. So this is really some intense werewolf energy going on. How auspicious. It's almost like the full moon is opening a cosmic window for us to melt down any negativity that's going to just ooze out from the Saturn-Pluto alignment. So, of course, please, I'm going to be doing a class at Liberate Hollywood about this. This is a life-transforming alignment that is going on here. And I'm going to help everybody guide through this on the quantum level and to really expose the negative and turn it into something really good and powerful. So that lunar eclipse is a powerful time when our egocentric nature is being blocked out so that we can access the sharing energy of our spirit. Now, it's only going to be 90% blocked out, okay? That 10% is a very powerful number if you think of the concept of tithing, right? We need to do something to get it to 100% so that we can really take whatever is showing up from that Saturn-Pluto in Capricorn alignment and be able to get to 100% of eclipse of that negative ego so that we can really shift reality how we need to, how we want to. I will, of course, provide more information specifically about the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, but I'm really just talking about like the overall ingression, the transits during the solar ingression and the sun moving through Capricorn. Okay, so then add to that within this lunar eclipse window, Uranus, the planet of turbulence or the planet of innovation, depending on how you're using it, is going to go direct in Taurus, also an earth sign like Capricorn, shaking up the system, changing the channel, really getting us to change our radio waves onto something different, onto something else, onto a higher frequency, something more than that we are used to. If there's healing that you've needed, you can have it. If there's that money magic, Taurus rules over money, you can have it. We're also moving from the 2D into the 3D. So I hope, I'm really pushing people to move forward with that. You want to use 2D. So when I say 2D, I'm talking about the screen. I'm talking about this, this puts you into 2D. Okay. I love technology. I mean, I have 2 devices. Like just the other day, someone asked me how many devices are connected to your Wi-Fi. I said, I circle around with at least like 10 or 12 devices. I mean, I have so many things going on. But the thing is like you don't want it to run you. Okay, you want to use the 2D to share the 3D so that we can get into the 5D. When you go into the 2D, your brain goes flat. You're not thinking clearly. And a lot of us escape the 3D and go into this. because, you know, we don't like our life, we're bored, whatever, we think that's where it is. But that's not everything. That's not where it all is. It's a tool, but it's not everything. It'd be like living in your car. I mean, so many people, my screen time was down 30% last week, you know, and I'm increasing it more and more. I mean, that even the software is trying to raise consciousness about it, you know? So it's like we want to move out of that 2D obsession, because we begin to think in 2D. And that's like the one thing you don't want to do. Like I always teach my students who I'm teaching them astrology, charts are not 2-dimensional. They are 5-dimensional, right? And especially when you're working with like transits and solar returns and progressions and the natal charts and whatnot, like you're stacking on top of each other, it becomes a sphere. And life is a sphere. So we want to move not from the 3D into 2D, but 3D into 5D, where we are, you know, beyond time, space, and motion, like in the world, but not of it. And that's where we're supposed to go. And the Saturn-Pluto alignment in Capricorn is going to wake us up from the matrix. Hopefully, that's why I'm really trying to raise awareness about it, so that we can do that. Because we need to use the technology, we need to use the 2D, but not let it use us. Now, if you're not into technology, like if you're, you know, maybe sometimes in the older generations, not really so much into the 2D, then, you know, start thinking about using more 2D. But if you're like totally in the 2D, then, you know, get more into the 3D. Because like I said, the point is to move into the 5th dimension. That's what we're here to do. So you can read more about Uranus and Taurus. I'll put a link in the description below. And then on January 12th, we're going to exactly have that Saturn conjunct Pluto alignment when it's exact. And so that's when it's going to be like a boom. And that's on the seed level of the day of December, which is the last month of 2020. So it's the omega to the alpha that we're talking about here. Then on January 13th, which is, you know, represents transcending the astrology, Venus is going to be entering into Pisces, which is going to make things a little bit more rainbowy and more sympathy, but also having this energy of now it's time to evolve. I want to evolve. I love to evolve. I need to evolve. This desire nature of, okay, it's time to grow. Now we really need to go and really push on. Okay? So it's just really about turning on the light. I mean, these dates are packed with huge astrological transits. Those first 12 days of Capricorn, we're bringing a lot of light into the world. At the same time, we have the first 12 days of January, we're bringing a lot of light to the world. Of course, the first days of Capricorn, we're bringing light to the world. At the same time, there's still an overwhelming amount of darkness that needs to be confronted. Don't worry, it's a necessary part of life. Think of when you come home. You come home to a dark home, maybe there's like a little light on or whatever, but then you need to turn on the light to be able to function. It's not that you are scared of it and run away from it. You would run away from your home. You would run away from your life. You don't want to do that. So during this time, we are really focused on opening our hearts, opening our minds, having them work together so that we can really allow the flow of the universe to run through us. The prosperity and the power can increase during this time, especially from January 11th to January 20th, as we're closing out that Capricorn energy. Mercury is then going to move into Aquarius on the 16th of January, which is going to make us more about thinking about others, thinking about the collective at large. Also might have a little bit of narcissistic thinking, but, you know, don't worry about that. We want to transcend, we want to overcome all of this. So it's a lot of action-packed stuff going on there in the sun transiting through Capricorn. Be sure to sign up for my virtual rituals of the new moon, the full moon, the eclipses. This is going to be a really powerful time. And also please sign up for my solar ingression meditation, where we do a pre-programming of the month ahead when the sun is going through Capricorn to help with all these transits. It helps to inaugurate and sustain the powerful 2020 transit of the sun in Capricorn, of course 2019 as well. So really, you can treat yourself to that quantum solar programming meditation. I do moon meditations and sun meditations and also planetary meditations. And that's how you overcome the stars. I know it might sound like a lot, but, you know, really there's so much going on. We can all use the help that we can get to help in our own world and then also in the collective. And of course, you know, the Capricorn essential oil blends and sprays and stuff like that. I mean, it's just really amazing. It's all been programmed and aligned with the archetypes. So there is like divine wisdom and programming to everything that is being done here. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Be sure to check out my articles, subscribe to my channel to get future updates about this. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And I thank you so much for being the one who makes a difference by using DASH Astrology. Until next time, see you guys. This is Alexander, wishing you all wonderful holidays and happy New Year's and wonderful seed meditations as well. Bye-bye.